All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. How's everybody doing out there today? So today is a pretty big day. I've been putting this off, trying to figure out when I needed to do this because I am coming back on the 19th, full on, uh, making new content for this channel with Wheel of Time and Cowboy Bebop and other things. We're going to be discussing like Eternal spoilers, and we're going to finally be talking about Dune. We're having a bunch of things come out, but I stopped making content about going on 4 weeks now, and as usual, I did it with a certain kind of over dramatic flair because I'm prone to uh, spontaneous rashness. But in this case, it was something that had been building for a while, even during other times of this year, the past few years. I feel like this has slowly been inching forward. And I went on vacation a few weeks ago, back in mid-October. And there was a series of events very early on in that vacation that were the straw that broke the camel's back, and I decided I needed to make some decisions and walk away for a while and come back with try to figure out a different way of doing things. Um, because the main thing, and I really do mean this, because I've said this a million times, but I think sometimes it just doesn't cut through. The main thing is I'm here to build a community. I'm here to make connections with people. I'm here to talk to y'all about stuff, and I'm here to listen to you guys and respond back to you. And, I am all open for cultivating relationships with reasonable people. Good people. I have met some of the best people in the last few years on this platform. I have real friendships that are made on this platform. I would not have. Before YouTube, I had pretty much literally zero friends. Like friends. Because I've moved around a lot and I haven't really established any lockdown people. There's people that know me, and I know a lot of people. I just don't consider any of them to really be close friends or anything. I have a lot of acquaintances. It's like having a bunch of Facebook people. See everybody with Facebook, you got like a million Facebook friends. You don't talk to any of them, you will never see them. So anyway, but with this platform, I have made real established friendships with people that mean something to me, man, that really, without them, if they were to go away, if they were to disappear, I would be heartbroken. Now, I'm going to be the first one to admit, like when I started this, way back, very first video, please don't look it up. I'm not going to say what, it's on there. Somehow it's on here. My very first video, it was just to see if I could do it. Like I was literally just trying something with my phone, and I thought, hey, here's an opportunity to reach out to the world and say something about something. And then it worked, and it uploaded, and it came out, and I was like, oh, wow. And I slowly started my journey on YouTube a while back when The Force Awakens first came out. And I had terrible audio, and nobody watched my videos, and but I'd still make them. We were talking about Game of Thrones, and people loved Game of Thrones. When Game of Thrones wasn't being talked about the way it's talked about now, as far as like the end of that show and everything. Captain America Civil War, Batman v Superman, Walking Dead, pre-Negan, right? I was talking about, I go back that far. It's not a long time really, but it feels like it sometimes. And, and I was drinking still back then. And it showed, my videos showed, and I wasn't trying as hard as I could. You know, I felt like I had a passion, but I had demons that were preventing me from really achieving and trying and going for it and getting better and trying to be better and all that. You know. And I'll also admit that I've been inconsistent with things. I I will start something and not finish it because I will. It's not like having a bad attention span. It's more like I see something that's working or not working, and I will stop doing it for a while and come back and not really have it on a schedule or anything like that. Always trying new things. Always, I can say that I've always been trying new things and tweaking things and but to those of you that have watched this channel for some things, and I never went back to, there are reasons for all of it. They might not sound like good reasons, but I mean, a lot of times it was hard to make certain things. Sometimes I'd be discouraged about making certain things, about the work that goes into it and the thought that goes into it, and the returns on it. Because while I don't do this for likes and views and all that, there's still that component. You don't make videos because you don't want anybody to watch them. You make videos so that people will watch them. So views are, no matter what I say, are still important. In fact, these days, if you ask like people that are higher up than me, sub count wise, they realize it isn't even about subs anymore. It's all about the views and all about this and all that. And so, when you don't see something working and you see something else new, bright and shiny that you could talk about, and maybe that'll help get people to find you and you can talk to them and all that. I'm always jumping around to the next thing, and I wish I was more consistent about certain things. I also wish that I didn't, because I've walked away from my channel several times because burnout is real. But this time was different. We started out this year on a break. And I came back and I was really full of energy and ready to go, and I was cranking out some videos and making cool stuff and really happy and looking forward to like WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier and everything else, and covering the rest of the little 6 episodes of The Walking Dead before the new season came out. And then right as I had the full wind in my sails, my internet crashed and did not come back on for months. And, I had people constantly trying to get a hold of me. The only way I could do anything was on my phone. Like, the only way I could watch anything was on my phone. I had dove into my old backlog of DVDs. I rewatched the entire series of Alias. I watched the entire series of Fringe again. I rewatched Game of Thrones. I bought like all the Blu-rays of Game of Thrones just so that I could have them, and it was like an excuse to just rewatch Game of Thrones again. I was going through all my other things, and I was missing out on so much content and missing out on working with people. And finally, and here's a little, like, I didn't realize how bad internet could be out there when we dropped our current carrier and tried to go to I'm not going to say who they are, but it rhymes with rectum. and it really fits. That really fits. Ended up coming back to our original provider, and our internet has not fallen apart since. My Wi-Fi right now, though, secretly, I need to make a phone call. So I came back right at the time that Mare of Easttown was out, and Handmaid's Tale had just come out. The first couple of episodes had just been released, and we came back and we were strong as heck. we came back with a thunder. We hit the 2,000 subscribers. We made the 2,000 subscriber videos, and I was, everything was riding high for a while. And, I understand that you go through ebbs and flows and ups and downs, because the era of being a big blow up YouTube channel and doing it by following your own heart and your own rules, and not following the algorithm, and not following what makes certain channels that can just, have a higher probability of becoming, overnight sensations. It's pretty much over unless you're willing to follow certain guidelines. And even then, nothing is guaranteed. And depending on what your view of success is, See, I was happy with being at 2,000 subscribers. We're at 2,210, something around there. And I'm great. I was fine with that. None of that. I have so many people that can attest that I was not sweating that anymore. I had hit a point where I was like, yeah, this is great. Even when I saw other channels that I thought were awful, that I once maybe thought were great, that found some success. I didn't compare myself to them. I wasn't feeling bad about that. I just wondered, all I saw when I saw this was that I finally understood what some of these other people were saying about how do you get, big? How can you still get big on YouTube now? And one of the biggest things that a lot of people will agree with is you have to become a grifting troll. You have to hate everything. You have to have an agenda, but not an agenda. You have to do the reverse psychology Trump speech, which is like, it's not me, it's you, but it's really them. If you tell everybody, I'm not the one with the agenda, they're the ones with the agenda, and it's really them with the agenda, and they hate everything, and everything is terrible, and everything is social justice warrior this, and anti-cancel culture that. And I'm not saying that some of this doesn't exist, but these people are grifters who are either trying to get you to are feeding off of people that don't have their own voice, people that are scared that the things that they love are being tainted by the all the different people out there that are trying to ruin things, these imaginary, the imaginary war on Christmas kind of people. They feed off of this. They feed off of the sad and weak and ignorant people out there that have all their fears. These people answer their fears and agree with their fears and feed their fears, and they make a ton of money off of feeding off of these people. They're parasites. But the problem is, these parasites are successful. Very successful. And even ones that, might not be that big, to me are bigger. Like, if you have 10,000 subscribers and you're a troll channel, you're a success to me. Anybody to me, 10,000 is beyond successful. To me, 10,000 is winning the lottery. Holy cow. But they've gotten there by seeing what works, and what works right now is hate, rage, fake outrage. There's so many channels out there that, they used to just review things and they could like something and dislike something, but it seemed balanced, and now it's just completely tilted to the one side where it doesn't even seem like they're even reviewing anything anymore. It's just finding the next thing to be pissed off about, finding the next thing that they think you guys will be pissed off about, and then running it into the ground. Whether it's a TV show, a movie, a comic book channel, many comic book channels now are just, they don't even hardly review comics anymore. It is just finding the topic that fits their narrative, fits their belief system. And you know who you are. Thinking Critical. Pfft, it's a joke. Anyway, I let a lot of this stuff during the last couple of years, whether it was the election, all the build up to the election, all the things that were happening in the world, watching a man, I mean, we've seen it. We've seen death on TV before, but watching what happened to George Floyd really effed me up. Really opened my eyes to how awful I feel about a lot of things in this country. And during all that, I started becoming very open and vocal about things. I was taking it aside and choosing not to just use this platform to talk about things like movies and comics and games and all that stuff that's just frivolous. It's all frivolous and it's fun to talk about and it gets your minds off of things. But I had changed and I said I'm not going to hold back anymore because the one side gets to say whatever they want. And it's time that people like me get off the sidelines and not care about the consequences of losing people's subs and views. Because that's how I feel like a lot of people would talk about their stuff, but this is their job. For a lot of people that do this, the bigger channels anyway, right? This is what they do. This is their income. And sadly, when something becomes your job, you have to play the game or you will lose. You will lose out on the revenue. You will lose out on sponsors if you take a side. If you flat out start making choices that hurt people, people not wanting to advertise in your channel one way or the other. And when it becomes like that, I just feel like the joy of doing this is gone. So not only do you have a job that you feel obligated to do for money, right? And you keep you keep yourself to a schedule so that you have, you have to keep constantly making stuff to keep constantly rolling views and ad revenue and build up because it takes a lot to make even like $100 on this platform. And so as much as I see, I'll watch people that I really like. Now that I look at them and I see how they do this as a job, I look at their eyes. I listen to the cadence of their voice. I listen to how excited or passionate they are when they're talking about things. And there's some people that are so big that they're always happy. They can talk about things and they're always going to be happy and passionate about it because they know when they make a video, they're pooping gold. But there's a lot of people out there that are still in the middle of the road success-wise, like that haven't reached that top tier yet, that gotta still grind it out. And when I look at their faces and I hear their thoughts and I look at and I can see them playing the game now because a lot of people have changed. They used to be more raw, more real, and now it is the job and what are they going to do? Get a real job? They could, but this is what they love. But what they love is turned into a career and you have to do it a certain way or you will lose money. And then you might have to get a real job. So, on top of all that, I had that to think about. Watching other people just get ground down and having to change. And they didn't want to take sides on things. And that's their right. That's their right, But the whole thing, looking at the world and having all these thoughts, they weren't helping me either. I've been so angry over the past 3 or 4 years because of the state of our world. And it hadn't gotten any better in 2021. Because now it's just a new kind of thing, and it's a new, like the absolute exhaustion that was 2020 carried over into 2021, and those of us who were trying to keep our heads above water in all ways, whether it's your personal life or your YouTube life or whatever, some of us, like myself, started drowning. Couldn't take it anymore. It was just too much. And I spent way too much time worrying about what these hate channels were saying, getting really mad at and letting these people occupy space in my head. I was still holding a grudge over the Australian YouTuber who screwed me over a couple of years ago. Over 2 years ago now. And I was still holding a grudge over what I felt like was a really unfair experience perpetrated by someone who wanted to embarrass me, humiliate me. And I let all that stuff build up and we were also living in a time where there just wasn't a lot of good stuff to talk about, in my opinion. There wasn't things that were getting me excited anymore. All the shows that I had done a video about my three favorite, my most anticipated things that were coming out. And it was a while ago. And it was for Invincible, Snowpiercer, and Y: The Last Man. Now they've all come out. These things that I was excited for. Snowpiercer. I can't even with that show. And I like the two main leads on that show quite a bit. But it's a TNT procedural or whatever channel it's on. It is not what I thought it was going to be. And anybody can say, hey, this season was this way or that way. You can't change my mind on this one. I guess I should have seen it coming. I mean, I had my fears when I saw what channel it was on, and it was exactly what I feared it would be. So Snowpiercer, can't talk about that, won't talk about that. Then Invincible comes out. But Invincible came out when my internet was down. And while Invincible of the three is the best of the three, I still have some major issues with it. Major issues. Not the animation, not the voice acting, but the story is, there's a lot, I have a lot of problems with it because it carries over into what I will agree with some people these days. And I will admit that it feels like everything has to be about something currently going on in our world, and nothing is fun anymore. There's very little just pure fun. Everything has to be, we're taking a stand on this, that, and the other thing, because we want to make sure that everybody understands exactly where we stand. And then I saw myself in that, and I went, you've been doing that. I've been doing that on my channel, and maybe some people are watching my channel and going, that's not fun anymore. This is not fun anymore. He's not having fun anymore, it doesn't seem. He's, and it's like, that's true. And I should have had my fill of that and laid it all out there and then moved on. But I didn't. And so I was just as guilty of doing some of that stuff as other people. But I couldn't stop myself because I was so angry. Because no one, it felt like, was doing anything anymore. You were either too afraid to say something, or you didn't care. You got these people who just don't care about anything. I don't have a dog in this hunt, Usually younger people who have yet to realize you are a part of this world, and it will catch up with you, and you will finally have some stakes in this game. Someday you're going to have to realize that. It took me a while to realize that. So I had all this anger and built up inside me, and all this just weariness from it all, carrying on through COVID, working 40 hours a week with the public in a backwards town where all the people, the majority of the people around me are all blue check marks. That's not what I meant to say. It's a blue area where I'm at, very blue. I love the color blue, but now I kind of hate the color blue. Wait a minute. No. What am I talking about? I'm getting my colors mixed up in political parties and everything. This is a very red area that I live in. Very red. It is a sea of red around me. The blue is out to the right of me and to the south of me. But I am swimming in red. And it's very hard to be around all these people that are just so willfully ignorant and hateful and racist and short-minded and unwilling to change and stuck in belief systems and that's the majority of the world anyway, like with belief systems that people are just stuck in and unwilling to change and that's another thing is just seeing, that we're not improving as a culture. We are not improving as a species. We are running ourselves into the ground, and it appears like we're just I don't know. I don't even know what to do about that. So we got all of that too. And let me tell you something. When you deal with the public that much, that wears you down to a little nub. And then come home and I'm supposed to make content and I'm supposed to feel good and I'm supposed to try to make everybody else feel good and I'm trying to talk about things that make me feel good and happy, and it's like it just got to be too much. And then when I took my vacation, I was supposed to go to my very, very, very first convention where I was going to have my own booth. Me and a friend, we had this plan for, man, we've been trying to do this for a while. And we were actually going to have our own booth where our channels, we could talk and meet with people, mostly hang out with my friend. But it fell apart. No one's fault. But that was like the first crack in it was like, well, that was the whole reason I took my vacation. But then I was, and again, this is no one's fault. This is entirely my state of mind going into all this. So I was sent a link to something that was completely harmless, like completely like a, hey, check this out kind of thing, and I don't usually click on things that people recommend to me because we all have our own tastes and our own thing, but I clicked on it and I before I even did it, I knew I shouldn't. I just knew I shouldn't. But when I clicked on it, what I saw was, to me, a version of myself, backwards baseball hat and all. I haven't worn a backwards baseball hat very often because I'm actually all right with my hair right now. So if anybody wants to know, like, if he's wearing the backwards baseball hat, it usually means that I'm either my hair looks like crap, or I think my hair looks like crap, or it's dirty or something, When it got really long, I put on the hat because I just couldn't find an angle that I liked, because we're just all really critical about ourselves, aren't we? But he had the backwards baseball hat. He had the same kind of camera quality. Which, look, folks, if there was a better place for me to film, I'd be filming there. There's plenty of light in other spots of my house. There's one problem, though. There is no privacy. And with my anxiety, I have to have complete privacy. I have to feel like I'm the only person on the planet just to record a video, because I get too self-conscious about anybody hearing me while I'm recording. So that's, there's that. That's never going to change unless there's ways that could change, and who knows, maybe in about 20 years if I'm still doing this. So he has the same kind of camera quality. There's not much, difference, except everything he said was like a sanitized vanilla version of myself. And I took it badly. I took it very, very badly. It was the straw that broke the camel's back. Because I made the mistake at looking at this person's channel. That they'd only been around for a couple of months. And they were already just way more successful on the same things that I was talking about. And they had 200 subscribers. And they're just being very basic to me. To me. All right? Hear me. Because I know a lot of you will you hear things and then you just decide to fill in the blanks and only hear what you want to hear and then extrapolate that and I found him to be vanilla, bland, basic. He was like, just like I said, the sanitized version of me. And I got sick to my stomach. And it's not fair. I'm not blaming this person that sent me the link. I'm not blaming the person who made their videos. This is their choice. But it was like the wrong time. And like I said, I'm very rash and impulsive sometimes and spontaneous to a fault. But it was the time where I said, I gotta stop. I gotta stop and reevaluate everything I'm doing. Because I don't want to keep going like this. I don't want to keep not enjoying myself. I don't want to keep feeling like I'm feeling. So I needed to make a change. And I had been thinking about this for a while, making this change. And it started like the first change that I've been thinking about was the channel name in particular. I'd been if you ask around, nobody does this. It's just a phrase, I guess. But I had asked around of several people about this, like changing my name. And I got varying opinions on this. But I still came down to one of the things, the smirking gun. It's just a funny play on words. I'm like that. I grew up on The Simpsons, so puns were everywhere in my life, and I just thought, smirking gun, that's funny because it's like smoking gun, but it also made me think of the lone gunman from the X-Files and the kind of conspiracy sounding thing, but with a little funny twist. And I thought, ha ha ha, look at me, Mr. Clever Clever. And so I liked it. But as the years have gone on, I just don't like having the word gun in my title. I don't like the fact that no one seems to be able to say my name when they first read it. They all say smoking gun. It's like they see the two words, smirking and gun, but when they see the gun, they automatically, in their brain, it tells them to say smoking gun because that's that's a common term. We found the smoking gun. And so I was annoyed that every time, I would have people just say smoking gun, smoking gun. Hey, this is Rob from Smoking Gun, smoking gun. Like. Then I'd get the people who think that my channel is about guns, or I'd have somebody say, hey, are you ever going to review a gun? And it's like, I can't say that I'm 100% anti-gun because I play video games where I blow people the hell up. I like my guns in my video games where it's where I'm shooting bad guys with guns. I don't want to be associated with people who love guns. Now, I mean, you can like guns. You can love guns. That's fine. I'm talking about the ones who take it to the, have to pull my gun out of my cold dead hands. I got my AK-47 and my bazooka. I have the right to have these things because what if that badger that lives in the back of my yard don't die from the 17,000 rounds I put into it? What if I need a bazooka to kill it? When really they're just, weird. I don't see a reason to own M16s and rocket launchers and grenade launchers. There's nothing that you're going to possibly need that for. If you're thinking you're saving it because someday the government's coming for you, you have bigger problems than and I'm sorry. That's just how I feel. So that's just the issue with the gun part of my channel name. I just needed it differently. I thought about calling it TMI, and I even used it in one of my videos where it's too much information with Rob, and I thought that was, TMI. It's a shortened word. Everybody loves to shorten things now in this, phone age where we just text everything and shrink it all down into little bite-sized nuggets. And I'm probably still going to use that TMI in different videos. So I got a hold of my friend and I said, hey, is there any way that you can lose the gun in the logos? Can we change it to just Smirking Reviews? And as you can see, if you've looked at my channel at all, you can see that I have changed it to Smirking Reviews. Thank you. You know who you are that did this. Put the little smirking emoji because, hey, for the kids. So the channel is now, when I make my next video, is going to be Smirking Reviews. It doesn't change the sub count. It's, you want to go to my channel, you type in Smirking, you're going to find Smirking Reviews. You know, I haven't changed it yet. I was waiting. This is the last Smirking Gun video. And then when I release my next one, it will be called Smirking Reviews. The next video I am making, I'm dropping a Wheel of Time book 1 video, just kind of briefly talking about what I thought about the book and how it's going to compare to the show and all that stuff. And that's coming in the next day or so. The other thing is how the format of my channel is going to look from here on out. Because I'm no longer going to be talking about all these controversial things in my videos. And if you've noticed, I don't think I really swore in any of this video. I came close. I'm going to try to curb my language a little bit more, but still keep it being me. I think in this entire video, I've been myself. I just haven't swore. And so I want everybody to know that I'm not going to change how I talk other than that on this channel. I'm going to try to curb my language a bit more. I have to start trying to play the game a little bit more to help out myself. I know that I'll never hit 1 million subscribers, but I can't stand being stagnant for very long. And I need to try to play the game a little bit for this channel. And on this channel, Smirking Reviews, we are going to solely be talking about current things. Anything that's been out like for the last year. Like, let's say go all the way back to like WandaVision. It's within the current year's time, we will cover that here at Smirking Reviews. Now, for the other part of it, like what does that mean for Rob's Never Seens? What does that mean for themed stuff? What does that mean for comic book reviews? Well, we're still doing those. The difference is that from now on, they're going to be on 2 other channels that I've already created. They're at Smirking Gun. See, it's going to be what? It's going to be hard. There's Smirking Reviews, which will have all the current topics. And then there's Smirking Reviews Classics. Now I will pull that up. Now when I type in Smirking Reviews Classics, it doesn't come up because there are no videos on there. And everything that until I can figure out how to move those videos over there, they're going to stay on the old Smirking Reviews. But anything like we had here with Smoke, you know, like the 420 reviews, like Natural Born Killers, the Christmas classics thing, anything like that, with Rob's Never Seens, they're all going to be the Halloween episodes, you know, anything like that, right? Anything like that, we are going to put on I'll be recording and putting on Smirking Reviews Classics. But the difference is on Smirking Reviews Classics and Smirking Reviews Comics, which is where we'll have the comic talk, I'm going to be full-blown, uncensored, making his videos as long as I want and say whatever I want about those, on those videos. I'm creating these 2 other channels because I want to be able to still talk about the things I want to talk about, but lower my video count on the main channel, be able to say whatever I want to say on those other channels and make them as long as I want, and not hurt my algorithm for the regular Smirking Reviews, which I still don't look at my analytics too often. I don't bend to the algorithm's will, but I am trying to change a bit to help me gain a little more steam in the long run. The other difference for Smirking Reviews with the current stuff is these videos are going to try to be a lot more streamlined and short, and like I said, less foul language, but still maintaining who I am and my honesty in them. So you're gonna, and for those of you who are like, I don't want to subscribe to all 3 channels, well, don't, you know. But I can say this: a lot of the reason, like, I'm going to put out a bunch of stuff on those other two channels eventually, but those are really going to come down to, like, if there's no audience, they won't be coming out very often. So if you want those, videos, I'm not hiding behind a paywall or anything like that. I'm not going to tell you have to go to some Patreon to, like, look at uncensored content. I'm never going to make you guys pay to watch content of mine. But they are going to be over there so that I can still sometimes just let loose completely and uncensored and say what I want to say about older stuff that's already been out for a while. Finished TV series, older movies, that kind of stuff, things I've never seen. There. And then for the comics, because I'm not established in the comics community, I do too much. I'm all over the place as far as what I talk about. And I still want to, I have to talk about comics. It's another part of me. It's a huge part of my life. I have so many comics all around me. I'm surrounded by comics and I barely talk about them. And I want to make sure that those of you who do come to the channel for comic reviews get that. And I would appreciate subs. It would be nice to see those channels grow a little bit. That's where that content is going to be. And I'll promote them on this channel, and I'll promote this stuff on those channels as I make those videos. And I'm sorry if that disappoints some people that I've created 2 other sub channels. But the reason I'm doing it is because as soon as I decided to do it, it felt good. It felt good, and doing what you feel is right. And if you feel good, like if you literally can feel, if it takes a weight off of you, you're doing something right. And even if it doesn't work, even if this new format doesn't take off the way I want it to, I've already, like I said, I understand that the era of small YouTubers is pretty much, I'm willing to play the game somewhat, but I'm not going to change who I am in the result, other than I can curb my language and I can make some of my videos shorter. So for these, like on Smirking Reviews, there's not going to be the long intros or anything like that. There will be some new intros I'm having made for my channels. But this one for Smirking Reviews is going to be the intro and then the video, and boom, bang, out. And we'll still be using the Neuralizer. We'll still be zapping people's minds because I think it's funny. But over on Smirking Reviews Classics, Smirking Reviews Comics, we're going to go all out. We're going to have all the pictures and the music and the songs and everything. It's going to be an extravaganza of content. You are not going to be missing out. You're still going to get all that crazy stuff that you love. It's just going to be on the next channel to the right. And I hope that is something that's acceptable to everybody. And if not, you don't have to unsubscribe or anything. There is still going to be the current stuff here. There's just going to be more stuff spread out a little bit more. And like I said, if that's too much for you, I understand. No fault. I'm not faulting anybody. But I have to do this for me. Some things I have to do for me. And I'm hoping in the end that no matter how it goes, as long as I feel good about making stuff, I won't stop making stuff. So I've got to do what makes it easier for me to continue in whatever fashion so that I don't walk away completely. So that's all I had to say, even though this is a lot to say. But I had a lot to say. We had a lot to get out. So I love you all to death, man. Those of you who always show up, always respectful, always willing to talk. And again, you guys can talk. I want to hear what you have to say. And if any of you out there want to be a part of our viewing parties that we have all the time, we've taken a break on those because I've been figuring things out. But we still do watch parties all the time. We're always watching Riff Tracks and Mystery Science Theater. And, we go to HBO and we watch movies. And we go to Netflix and watch movies. We go to Prime and watch movies together. So if anybody wants links to those watch parties, all you got to do is send me... message me on Twitter at reviews_gun, because you can change your name but not your Twitter handle apparently. Message me on Twitter at reviews_gun. Follow me there so you can message me and say, hey, I want to be a part of the Discord. And then once you're part of the Discord, we get you set up there, and we will send you links to whenever we have viewing parties, you will get messaged that we're doing them. And you can either show up or you don't have to show up. It's no pressure, you know? We're all just here to have fun and talk, and it's nice to come in and say hi and slowly become part of the group. Because that's what we're doing here. In the end, it's still to build a community. But there are things that have to happen in order for me to stay motivated to do that. So I want to thank everybody for, if you've made it this far, or if you've clicked ahead or whatever. I appreciate all of you. And I will always appreciate you guys. You know? So anyway, have a great day. Smirking Gun Reviews is dead. Long live Smirking Reviews. Smirking Reviews Classics, and Smirking Reviews Comics. Hope to see you there. Can't wait to see you in the comment section. And for some of you, can't wait to just see you in general. Bye. Hey, okay, so one last thing before I go, because I realized that I forgot to mention something that to me is important in moving on, is I talked briefly about some other channels, people that have been taking up space in my head, like the situation that happened with me on another person's channel a couple of years ago, and with comic book channels that I worked with that now very upset me, or just channels in general, a lot of these toxic, hate-filled channels that I've kind of mentioned. You know, you know what channels I'm talking about. I don't need to spell it out for you. Um, when I said that they were taking up space in my head, I want you to know that I'm no longer allowing myself to let that happen. I'm expunging all that stuff from my head, and I am making myself not pay attention to that kind of stuff anymore. Anybody who wants to create fake hate, fake rage, real rage stuff on topics that are clearly anti-progressive thought, things that are just trying to keep us all from improving as a society, uh, I will no longer let them live in my head anymore, and I will not be, watching any of that stuff, allowing myself to think that way and make myself feel awful. By extension, um, to all those people, I hope good luck in your future, and hopefully you guys, somewhere down the line, these people can find their own health. There's a lot of people out there that make content that need to stop, at least for a while, and figure their lives out. You have to take breaks, and when you just constantly keep going, and you're just making yourself worse. So I want everybody to know that I'm putting all that aside, and I'm moving forward, and I'm not going to let their content affect my content, and I'm going to try to start having more fun. And while on the other parts of my channels, we might discuss some things that are a little more controversial in how I really feel, I'm not going to allow myself to dive down into that anger as much as I had been, because I have to start feeling good, because in all honesty, with how bad things are in this world, and how very disappointed I am in society and most people, and how things aren't getting better, they're just getting worse, and it feels really like we're headed into some even more darker times. I've got to try to find some happiness and find some light, because I'm a little tired of fighting uh, by myself. And I'm a little tired of feeling like the world isn't is basically settling in for, just kind of accepting that this is just how it's going to be for the rest of our lives. And in order to keep my sanity, I've got to push some of that out. So I hope everybody can understand that too. So I didn't say, if you like this video, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications. And if you didn't like anything I said, well, hey, guess what? It's back. It's the Neuralizer. So if you hated everything I said over the last almost hour, well, we can give you a better memory. So look right here if you hated everything I just said. Otherwise, get out of the room or put on shades, because here we go. Here's something I think you'll like a bit more than what I just said. Have a great day, everybody. See you on the all new channels.
We've all been raised on television to believe that one day we'd all be millionaires and movie gods and rock stars, but we won't. We're slowly learning that fact. And we're very, very pissed off.